What's good, YouTube? Ministeel here, and welcome to the 8th and final expert solo battle of Wisdom of Sea and Sky. I meant to post this one a lot sooner, however I truly struggled in finding a list that could take this down consistently while following the rules of 3 diamonds or less and psychic only. Before we get into it though, I'd like to mention that at the time of this recording, we are under 40 subscribers away from reaching 1,000 on YouTube, and I'd like to take the time to thank every single one of you that has subscribed already. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd truly appreciate any help in reaching the goal of 1,000. As always, before I break down the list that we'll be using for these challenges, I like to look at the list that we're going against. Immediately we could determine that this is going to be a tough battle, mainly because Skarmory is not only one of the most aggressive, yet one of the most defensive Pokemon in the game. As a basic that swings for 70 damage with just 2 energy, alongside the added effect that it takes 20 less damage the following turn, plus an apron that could add 10 to that, and a supporter that could add 50 to that, there'll be times when you could deal 0 damage to this Skarmory, so we need to make sure whatever Pokemon we're using is able to take on just as many hits, in hopes that we can make up for the lack of damage. Scizor is also low-key a card that we don't necessarily need to build around, but we do need to respect, as it's their only way of dealing more than 70 at any given time, since it gets a boost when it comes from the bench to attack. I want to point out that despite the solo battle requiring only psychics just like the Umbreon, due to the typing of this deck, it's a completely different animal. Strategies like Togekiss and Sweet Relay have the potential of getting lucky, but the weakness to metal makes it way too inconsistent. Thus we had to look elsewhere, and eventually I landed on the strategy that we'll be using today, which is Shining Rivalry's Alakazam. Full transparency, I've never used this card before the making of this video, and honestly I probably was undervaluing it. Do I think it's a meta contender? Absolutely not. However, for solo battles, it was a lot stronger, and maybe I could have been using it in the past. Early into the deck building process, I realized the importance of using a stage 2 Pokemon, as Lily is able to basically mitigate any damage the Skarmory does, as healing 60 when they deal 70 is very significant, the same way that Jasmine nullifies ours. But also, Alakazam brings an extra damage to the table. It deals an extra 20 to the bench as long as any of the Pokemon on their bench have energy. And thanks to this additional damage to the bench, Cyrus, which is already one of our go-to finishers, becomes that much more reliable. Giratina serves as the perfect starter, as with the help of Potion and PCL, we're able to tank almost 3 to 4 turns, not to mention that if we're able to equip a Rocky Helmet, we're dealing residual damage throughout every turn. Speaking of Rocky Helmet, it's also one of the MVPs of the list, as that 20 damage it inflicts cannot be resisted by anything that our opponent is playing, nor Skarmory's effect, nor the apron, nor does Jasmine protect the Skarmory or any Pokemon that's attacking from taking that extra 20 damage. Thus finding those ranges that the apron and other effects were not letting us achieve. Honestly, I think the best way to show you the power of this deck is through gameplay, as it shows the reasons I can't put into words, so I hope you stick around for that. With that, the season is over in terms of expert solo battles, but you have not seen the last of me, as I do plan on uploading more Master Ball level deck profiles and gameplay. So if you've gotten this far, thank you, please consider subscribing, and above all else, stay pro. Alright, we get to go first, which personally, not ideal, but at least we have Giratina to wall up, right? Let's see. This could be tough. Yes, the Skarmory attacks slower, but once it starts attacking, it hits a lot harder than anything else they have. Let's see if we can find what we need, right? Okay, guaranteed Abra into Kadabra into. We have all the rare candies in the deck, right? So it's just a matter of finding Alakazam now. Giratina could hold it down for 3 turns technically, especially with Center Lady. 4 if you take into account that this guy can't attack yet, right? Go energy here. Pass. Let's see. Honestly, now we're at the mercy of finding Alakazam. There's no like. Alright, draw. Still nothing. We can PCL to stall just a bit longer. Again, they're not playing Geo. They're not playing. Well, they are playing red, but we're not EXs, so it doesn't matter. Let's see here. Alright, so next turn, they're definitely not taking no damage. We got 2 turns to find Alakazam, then the sooner the better, right? Alright, perfect. Alakazam. We get to retreat for free. Well, yeah, for free. Technically, we have to charge them up, but we don't have to spend the energy, right? And now we're in business. I forgot about Jasmine. Real talk. I guess. Okay, perfect. I guess. I was gonna say, like, high key, we probably should have just left Giratina to get cooked, but at least now Giratina ate the Cyrus. But in hindsight, knowing that Jasmine wasn't gonna let them take any damage, I should have just let the Giratina out to begin with, but here we are. Alright, 20 damage in the back line is pretty good too, though. Alright, here's where Lily shines, because we essentially blank the attack they did. They hit us for 70, we heal for 60. We're basically defending better than they are. They do have access to Scizor next turn. Scizor. I don't know why I pronounce it so weird, but let's go here. And nowhere else to put the energy, really. Alright, those... Honestly, I don't have Guzma in this list, and I'm like... high-key, like, regretting it. Double XP, yikes. Yikes, yikes. Yeah, like I said, they have red, but it doesn't affect us. Alright, we're gonna be able to heal back up to enough, so that's good. And thanks to the helmet, this Scizor is gone, and the Skarmory is about to be, like, in trouble, right? So Lily. 80 is enough. We could hold Potion. Because we're going to knock out Scizor. Otherwise... And they had no other way to like bring it back out for the Gale Thrust. Not yet anyways. So... With Suppression, we take down Scizor. And Skarmory is a hit away. Which we have Cyrus to bring out, right? And again, they're not playing Mars. Not playing Red Card. The Umbreon deck had all the hand disruption. This deck has 0 of it. Luckily for us. So we get to hold everything that we find, right? That's tough. The good thing is that if they swing, we do have the Rocky Helmet. And yeah, mathematically, they take 0 damage next turn. But again, they can't even attack because of the Rocky Helmet, right? At most, they could switch into the Skarmory. Which we have no issues with, right? Yeah. We each only have 1 point left, so it doesn't... Like, we could sacrifice the Alakazam in the lead. Alright, in hindsight, I would potion... we have Cyrus, so it's okay. But in hindsight, you would potion there to avoid what just happened. But luckily for us, it does not change the outcome of the game. Now we just go Alakazam. Cyrus out. Either one, really. But let's just go for... Technically... We could have gone for... Actually, yeah, had we gotten the one with 80 HP, would have been to knock out both of them. But here we go. As always, that's just the first example. I like to do at least 2 per video. So, as you see, as long as you find Alakazam, Giratina is just there to be a wall. Whether you end up using it for attack or not, it's perfectly fine. Just Alakazam deals enough damage, plus is resilient enough with the Lilies to take on this challenge. Not perfect, but it's something. It's what I was able to find to work. Alright, this time we get to go second, which is perfect. At least to show you both sides of the game. Also, them not being able to attack immediately, right? Alright. Into research. The good thing about going second is if we find Rare Candy and Alakazam, we can start swinging for 80 almost immediately. If not technically immediately, right? Let's go research here. Really want to find Rare Candy, Alakazam. Alright, we got a turn to do it. Let's go Rocky Helmet here. There's a world where we could have swapped into Giratina and bought some time, but I feel like we have so much advantage if we end up finding that Alakazam that... If we don't find Alakazam, then this was a misplay. The safer play would have been to retreat to Giratina, give the helmet to Giratina, and just sit behind that for now. Odd gameplay from the opponent here, but that's natural. Also, you could consider it luck that they don't have a tool. They only play in a 20 card deck with Skarmory. They're only playing 2 tools for some reason, which is the 2 aprons or whatever it's called. All right, we got Kadabra. Luckily, we got Potion, although they're not really threatening to knock us out, right? We can start charging up Giratina. Alright. You really need to find that Kadabra. I mean the Alakazam. Kadabra's obviously on board already. Alakazam? No. However though, we do have access to knock out Skarmory. The only issue with that is that we start dealing with the Skarmory that's in front of us, and we don't have an out to that. I think it just sucks because they do play Cyrus, right? So here I am getting punished for the line I chose. But I guess it's still best to attempt to hide, right? Knocking out these Skarmories don't really do anything for us. Actually, you know what the play could be? We could Cyrus this one to... I could have kept Kadabra in and Cyrus this one so that they can't... Although they have an XP still somewhere in the deck, right? Still feels like the correct play. No, not anymore. Let's just pass turn. Okay. Yeah, they Cyrus. No Cyrus. Okay. So there's still a chance of finding Alakazam. Go research. Which begs the question. Why did I charge the Giratina? But that's fine. Could technically evolve here. You know what? Let's do that. Let's go evolve here. Spooky shot. Realistically, I could have probably played this way better from off the jump. Stick to my own game plan that I've been presenting, but I gotta keep in mind that this guy could jump in for too much damage, really. We hit for 70, puts us to 40. We could heal to 100. I think I'm sacrificing the front Alakazam to make up for my mistakes. Yeah. So, and that's another thing that I like to show. Like, I know I'm playing incorrect. Like, I'm making mistakes here and there. But there's just something about showing how, like, the deck still functions somehow, given despite anything that I'm playing incorrectly. Let's see, what's the best way to go about it? Because for sure, Rocky Helmet here. If we keep the Alakazam that's in the front right now, even with Lily, right? They for sure swap into Scizor. So I think I'm going to retreat here. If they use Cyrus, that's fine. And if they don't, if they attack into the Alakazam, we have the Lily play. So let's do that. Again, this is me making up for an incorrect start to the game, right? Okay, there's Jasmine. Tough, because Jasmine makes it where we cannot hit them. But they still went for the... Interesting. They still decided to go for the 100 damage. Pokeball has no target. Let's heal up here. We're at 90, which means we're safe. The Scizor does hit for... I mean, does only take 70 because of the cape, the apron. Right, there's the Cyrus. We know they have, by the way. We knew that about that. Okay, so they sacrifice Scizor here, which is interesting. So that's just a game. Because since the Skarmory didn't attack, it doesn't gain the extra 20. Like, you can't protect it from the extra 20 damage or whatever. And we already have Cyrus. Alright, so I'm glad to show that even if you kind of like misplay, there's still a chance to win this game. Or this challenge. And trust me, it's because of Alakazam. I tried so many different variants that I probably already went over in the intro, so I'm not going to like bore y'all again. But yeah, just like that, you could play Guzma, and the more I play it, the more like, yeah, it's not necessary, clearly, as we beat it twice. But it would have definitely made it easier had we just seen Guzma. Maybe for replace, it's hard to say, right? We didn't use Pokemon communication technically, but it also, I guess, do it preference-wise. Feel free to find space for Guzma however you see fit, whether it's taking out the potion or the PCL or maybe one of the 2 Rocky helmets, something like that. Cyrus is definitely necessary. What else is there? The lilies are necessary, both of them actually. Yeah, so I guess Pokecom, potion, PCL, and I guess potion and PCL, one of the 2 you definitely do need. But if you want to cut one or the other, or one of the 2 helmets for the Guzma, feel free to do so. It honestly would help a lot, especially you saw it work there, where we still won, but it would have been a lot easier had they not had the aprons on. So, nonetheless, that's the final solo battle of Wisdom of Sea and Sky. Can't wait for the next set to drop. They mentioned Megas, but I don't think Megas are coming next set. I think that'll be like a few months forward. Like maybe that'll be B1. Again, nothing's been confirmed. That was just a trailer for something to, like, for the coming fall. I don't know. Again, as a Florida man, I don't know what seasons are. But nonetheless, thank you for watching. We're getting so close to 1,000. I appreciate every single one of y'all. And above all else, stay pro.